King and Conqueror, episode 4. So, we are officially halfway through the season now. We've established the beginning, now we're moving into the central moment, the midway point of this story. So how's it going? Weird, but not bad, just weird. So, minor spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about some elements of plot, but let's get into the writing. So, at the end of episode 3, it had been established that Harold had successfully won over the earldoms of Mercia and Northumbria, and he had been kind of given back Wessex. A little unclear there, but whatever. Basically, all three of them were going to rally together and march on London. So, at the start of this episode, we should be expecting, some montage scenes of them assembling their warriors, spears and flags flying in the breeze, swords being slung into scabbards, arrows being knocked into bowstrings, ready to march on London, streams of warriors marching along, and cut to they've already fighting in London. Wait, seriously? That's it? No montage, no establishing shot, nothing. We're just immediately cutting to Edward and Lady Emma hiding in their rooms while there's the sounds of a battle outside. Really? That's it. That's all we're getting. Okay, yeah, I get it. This isn't necessarily one of the big important battles, but come on, you could have given us something. I'm not expecting a whole big battle siege sequence. I understand that you got to save the budget for the important battles at the end of the show, but you could have given us something. Just even a few shots of soldiers just marching along, with the spears and shields. Documentaries can handle that. Or just a scene of like a camp outside the walls of London with like the earls of Mercia, Northumbria, and Wessex talking and a battle strategy, fade to black, and then you can cut to the end of the battle. Something to show the setup, the scale, nothing. It's just immediately cutting to, Edward being caught off guard, and Edward, Eddie, what? They have done you dirty, Eddie. They have. This show has done Edward the Confessor dirty. They have wronged him. Like, my boy, look what they've done to my beautiful boy. Like, seriously, he is just so pathetic and so just why? I don't get why they've made him like this. Yes, granted, he may have not successfully, established a legacy and an heir, and was, seen as a bit of a peace-loving king. But I don't make him weak and pathetic. I don't know. I don't get this. I don't get why they've done him like this. But moving on. So, we've had all that, and, they successfully win the battle, and then Harold just lets them go with this vague promise that as long as Edward creates an heir, then they'll be left be. Really? You're just going to leave Lady Emma scot-free? You're just going to let her carry on? She who is the architect of all your troubles? No, just going to leave her be? Okay. Short-sighted in terms of, strategy. She is the whole reason the three of you had to unite together in the first place. You don't think she's going to go out for revenge? Yeah, I definitely feel like the writers didn't think this one through, because Harold goes to all this effort to reclaim his homeland and unite the other earldoms, and then they don't see it through. They just kind of meekly show up and go, okay, promise you'll be good, and then we'll leave you be. It's like, yeah, that's not how it worked. Anyway, moving onwards. So, what's happening in Normandy? Well, there's another battle about to commence. William is getting ready. He's marshalled his Norman allies. He's laid a trap for King Henry. So, what are we going to get? Oh, no battle scene either. Really? Nothing here either? No setup, no establishing, no... Just, all we get is a shot of a camp, which I'm pretty sure is the exact same shot from episode 1. Like, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same shot. And then a guy walking in and describing what happened. Like, first rule of this is a... Show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. First rule, show, don't tell. And again, I can understand them not wanting to show a huge big battle on a river, very complicated, not necessarily, but again, show something, show like a small skirmish, show the establishing shot, show them getting ready for it, you know, just have William leading his men and like drawing his sword and going charge and then fade to black, something. It's just, or the aftermath. If you're going to show the setup, show like the aftermath, show like a field of bodies, like strewn around the river and stuff. Men going around, stabbing the wounded to put them out of their misery. William standing there in the misty battlefield, bloody and all worn out and stuff. Then have his lieutenant come up and say, "Oh, Henry's escaped." That would have been so much cooler. That would have been much cooler shot. But instead, we just get him just mooching around in his tent, all being all broody, doing his best, Bruce Wayne impression. Like, it's just... yeah. A little frustrating. Because they're setting up all these cool things, these really interesting plots, but then the way they're showing them is just kind of boring and very rushed. And it's like... okay. So what else? What else is happening in this episode? Well, there's a very random scene later on where William is, back in his Norman castle and he's talking to his half-brother. Not gonna lie, I completely forgot this character even existed. He shows up in the first 2 episodes as this kind of like the stumbling, slightly cowardly, weedy version of William, basically. And they have this whole conversation, and it's implied he was running away, betraying them, helping Henry. I don't know. It was not very well explained exactly what William was accusing. Otto. Otto was his name. And then there's this thing where he gets sent off to join join the church in somewhere in France. And I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, I'm assuming this scene's going to come back. I'm assuming this is like set up or foreshadowing for something later on, because I don't see the point of it. I completely forgot this character even existed. So, yeah. Okay, so what else is happening? Oh, yeah, no, I'm still not over how they've done Edward in this show. Like, I can understand, not wanting to make him too competent or too much of a thorn inside of the other characters because it would have drawn too much attention away, but why did you have to make him so... just disappointing. It's just this pathetic, weedy, cowardly little man, and it's just such a shame, because Edward was actually really interesting. And he ruled for 22 years. He don't rule for that long by being this pathetic little weasel of a man. Oh well, now we have a scene where his poor mother is badgering at him again and being a total ITCH, and and they're talking and arguing and stuff, and holy shit, what the hang on, whoa, what the heck, what the bloody hell, huh? Flippin' heck. I'm sorry, did Quentin Tarantino direct this episode or something? I mean, I was expecting, I was fully expecting at some point for him to, snap and to turn on his mother. But I thought he would like send her away or push her down the stairs or something. But no, bash her face in with his own crown. Also, incidentally, what the heck is that crown made out of? Because gold is like super soft, dude. You can bend it with your own hand. So what the heck is that made out? Like seriously. Okay, I'll give it this. I was not expecting that. That was something unexpected. Well done, episode. Well done, show. You caught me off guard there. Like, I was expecting her to be, gotten rid of at some point, but I wasn't expecting quite this scene. Yeah, okay. I take back what I said about him being weedy. Or do I? We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. You couldn't even change the shirts for the wedding. So, the context. There's a wedding scene in this episode where Tostig and his new Flemish wife get married in Wessex. And it's a good scene, like in terms of dialogue and stuff. It's a very dramatic filled, series of events, betrayals and revelations and all that stuff. But good grief, why do they all still look terrible? Like, you couldn't even throw some flowers onto their heads or something. It's a wedding. Bring out the nice jackets. Bring out the nice vestments. Good grief. And that's the thing. I swear, all the male characters in this show basically have like two looks. They all have like two variations of the same outfit, and I can understand that for like the in-between scenes. But you think for like the important moments, they would have, would have loosened the purse strings for something a bit more nice looking for things like this. But I shouldn't really be surprised. Back in the previous episodes, when we had the coronation scenes, they all looked like peasants then, so why should I be surprised they still look like peasants now for a wedding? So, yeah, so no surprises there. What about the Vikings, though? Do the Vikings look... No, they look terrible. They look... Oh, my God, they look bad. These are supposed to be Vikings? These do not look like Vikings. They look like... Well, I don't know what they look like, but they don't look like Vikings. And Hardrada, that's supposed to be the king of Norway. A king. An actual king. Good grief. I mean, what do? Do they just pop over to Sweden and grab a hold of, like, heavy metal club goers, dress them up in rags, smear some dirt on their faces and launch them in a boat? That's literally what they look like here. Why are they all in black? Like, seriously, like, this is what made me think of the death metal thing. Like, they look like a bunch of, like, Scandinavian underground music goers. They don't look like Vikings at all. Oh, man, this is just bad. It's not. I'm not even caring about historical accuracy at this point. It just looks bad. I know I've gone on about this in previous reviews and stuff, but I was really hoping that, with Vikings, even with, like, say, the Vikings TV show, yes, that was incredibly historically inaccurate, but at least they kind of looked interesting. There was some creativity there. There was a lot of it was nonsense, but it was nice looking nonsense. This is just, oh man, this is embarrassing. I genuinely feel embarrassed for everyone involved in this. Moving on. Just want to make a quick note about this here, because, I want to give credit where credit's due. There's some castles in this. We finally get to Normandy, and we're shown, William's home and stuff. And they've actually done a really nice castle set up. Like, it's a big set, big rooms. You know, there's tapestries and torches and beautifully carved furniture, and it's a big, impressive set. They're not just found some half-ruined castle and just stuck a bunch of tents inside it. You know, it looks really nice, actually, and I want to give credit where credit's due. They've done a good job with that. Would I have preferred it had they painted the walls, you know, white and to make things a bit brighter and less dreary looking? Sure, but I'll take what I can get. And the castle design is actually really good. There's an air of wealth and quality about it. It looks like the home of a duke. So well done to those who actually put the effort in there. That said, do you guys like have this thing about the north of England? Because between how you showed the Northerners in the previous episodes and now, like, look at this, right? Tostig shows up at his earldom, right? So he's been granted, like, temporary Earl of Northumbria, right? And he literally walks into a friggin' hut that's leaking. Like, do the writers have some grudge? Do the people behind the show convinced that everyone in the north was just poor? Like, seriously, guys, come on. This is supposed to be the home of an earl? Really? Like, just, oh my god. Okay, I'm not expecting like a sumptuous palace, but like, what are you saying about the people who live up there? What do you think, they just accept leaky roofs? Like, even if they didn't have much material wealth, they would have at least known how to make a decent roof. It's just, I don't get it. What was the point of it? What's the point? Because the whole scene ends up them talking about the fact that Tostig's wife's pregnant and stuff, and how they're going to, you know, manage the political situation. So why do they need to make it look all povertied? Like, it's just weird. It's just really weird. Moving on. Overall, the show is still a mess. It's still a complete and utter up and down, all over the place in terms of plot and character and quality of writing. But I will say this. Now that several characters have now been, you know, eliminated, a lot of that unnecessary chaff has been removed. And we are starting to get a bit more of a coherent feel now for the remaining sort of cast of characters. And the way the episode ends with this sort of build-up of setting up this idea that these three, you know, Harold, Hardrada and William, setting up that they're sort of towards the crown and their plans and ambitions. It is nicely done. This feels like a good mid-season episode. You know, we've done a lot away with all the setup and the prep work. We've eliminated several of the unnecessary characters or the baggage, and now we've got the sense of a much more momentum going forward. So I hope that turns out to be the case. Obviously, we have to wait and see how it goes. I'm also glad, as I said earlier in the review, that the Vikings have shown up, because they are incredibly important. I am rather worried about how they're going to do Hardrada, because I'm not particularly impressed with it so far, but they have literally only just shown up. So I'm going to give this show the chance to prove me wrong and see how they do Hardrada. My hopes are not high, but I'm going to give them the chance. So that's pretty much all it. Hope you enjoyed the review. Take care. God bless.